guys, hope you're enjoying your Saturday. It is day 3 of MS Awareness Month, and I just got back from the grocery store and wanted to share a few things that I picked up, especially as they relate to our conversation that we had yesterday around inflammation and how it's the precursor to virtually every chronic disease. And whether you have an autoimmune or not, it definitely can contribute to aches, pains, headaches, weight gain, brain fog, all that stuff that we're looking to eliminate from our lives and start feeling our best. So we talked about the most inflammatory foods being gluten, dairy, sugar, heated oils. So today I really wanted to focus on going gluten-free, because that's one of the things that people are most likely to try first. It's a little bit more trendy lately, I suppose. But it's also one where I find a lot of people can get misguided or confused on the most effective way to do that. So I think the natural tendency is to take whatever food that you're eating and find the gluten-free alternative to it. What ends up happening is that you go from one processed food to another. So you're going from regular pasta to gluten-free pasta, or regular bread to gluten-free bread. You're cutting the gluten out, true, but you're not necessarily getting all of the nutrient-dense foods that you need. You want to be getting foods that not only are anti-inflammatory, so they're not promoting inflammation or contributing to existing inflammation, but you want to get foods that are loaded with those vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, all the things that your cells need in order to be able to thrive. You hear me say so often that we are the most overfed and undernourished nations. So we're eating food, so to speak, and a lot of it, but that food doesn't have the nutrients in it that our cells need in order to be able to function properly. It's like trying to get your car to go 90 miles an hour down the turnpike when the only thing you put in the gas tank was water. Water is pretty much the equivalent of the processed foods that we're eating, and oftentimes our lives are pretty much reflective of 90 miles an hour down the turnpike. So we want to make sure that we, again, are getting rid of the inflammatory foods, but instead of putting just gluten-free processed foods in its place, you want to be putting nutrient-dense foods. And that's what I have to share with you today. So on the note of pasta, one of the things that I think is a nice, easy swap for you is just taking these zucchini noodles. I leverage the fact that Wegmans often has them already prepared for you, so they have them spiralized up. It's a zucchini that you just spiralize, and they come out looking like noodles. Do they taste like pasta? No, they don't taste like pasta. So if you go to the table expecting them to taste like pasta, you're going to be disappointed. But that said, if you go to the table expecting them to be a vegetable, which they are, you found a really fun and creative way to enjoy them. So what I'll do with these, because they're so quick and easy to make, and that is one of the biggest things that people ask for, they say, Eileen, it's got to be quick, easy, and delicious. So for this, you put a little water in a pan, toss the zucchini noodles in, and literally like a minute later, depending upon how many or how much you're putting in there, it shouldn't take more than 1 to 2 minutes, because there's already so much water content to the zucchini that if you cook it longer than that, it's actually going to make it soggy. So just 1 to 2 minutes on the heat, take it off, drain the water, and then I'll put a little oil on at that point. I use the extra virgin olive oil here. But you don't want to actually cook with the oil, because then the oil gets too hot and it can actually go rancid and promote inflammation in the body. But we're going to go into oils on another video. This I just wanted to highlight as a good option or alternative to pasta, or just a creative way to get some veggies on your plate. You could even put some tomato sauce, you can put all kinds of different things. So get creative with the seasonings and the flavoring. The next thing I have here is the cauliflower rice. So they essentially just took a head of cauliflower, put it in a food processor, and riced it up, so to speak. So you can use this as a direct replacement for rice. Rice in and of itself is gluten-free, so not to suggest that, but again, just getting more veggies in, and if you're trying to reduce the amount of grains in your diet, which can be definitely helpful from an autoimmune perspective, this is a good alternative. So again, same concept, water, put the veggie in, cook it up for a few minutes, drain the water, season it however you would like. This is also an ingredient that you can use if you're making the cauliflower crust pizza. Or what I like to do with this is do a breakfast bowl. You could also do it for lunch or dinner. I have a pretty non-traditional breakfast. But I'll do this. I'll do some of these shaved Brussels sprouts here. And then I'll maybe add some kale, some chicken. I usually work out first thing in the morning, so I like to have some protein in there for sure. Maybe even some bacon on occasion and mix that up, or if I don't have the bacon, I might do a little bit of the avocado to get some good healthy fat in there. But you can really find some creative ways to get some veggies in using these different cuts. Now this one, actually, I got a little bit further back into the store there. It's not the ones that they prepare on site, but what I found is that it's a few dollars cheaper and just as fresh. So if you have the equipment, the time, the ability to do all this on your own, spiralize, rice at home, shave at home, do that on your own because you're gonna save money and it's gonna be super fresh. But if you're looking for the convenience factor, the majority of grocery stores already have it done for you. So those are some good ways to get some veggies in, especially from a gluten-free perspective. I also have, you guys know how much I like my rainbow carrots, and then I have some grape tomatoes. So why I have these in the context of gluten-free is because if we're doing any type of a dip, we want to try and get away from the chips, the pretzels, and crackers, and all that other stuff. So these are good alternatives. They also add a different flavor, or excuse me, a different color. Every different color you have on your plate represents a different phytonutrient. So as we know, we want to eat the rainbow. This is a really easy, convenient way to do so. And on the note of dips, this, I got a head of cauliflower here. I'm not quite sure if this is going to take down the pyramid that I got. Here we go. So I got a whole head of cauliflower because I want to try the cauliflower hummus. I have not made that yet, but I really enjoy hummus. I miss it, so that's one that I'm going to give a try with that. And then you can also take an avocado, mash that up with some of the tomatoes, make a little guacamole. That would be a nice snack to have as well. So, oh, and then last but not least, I have the super greens. So every time I go to the grocery store, I try to get a different type of green. This one are the super greens, so it has the kale, chard, spinach, yep. Sometimes I'll just get spinach, other times I'll just get kale. You want to vary up the veggies that you're getting as much as possible. And I love getting this every week because there's so much I can do with it. I can make a smoothie, I can do a side dish, saute it up. I can put it in soups, I can have a salad, you can put it on a sandwich. There's so many different things that you could do with it. So definitely scoop one of these up, and if you do, I like to put a paper towel underneath so I take this plastic off, take the lid off, put a paper towel in, put the lid back on, and then put it in the fridge. It really helps to balance the moisture out there. So I hope this was helpful. These are just some quick and easy tips to get you started if you are transitioning to a gluten-free diet. Definitely going to be sharing more, so stay tuned. We're going to go more into dairy-free, talking about how to protect the oils that you use in the kitchen and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. Hope you guys are learning a lot. Would love it if you comment as to what you find to be most helpful if you are gluten-free, and if you're not, what's one tip that you took away from today that you can start practicing. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care.